So the annual HughFest is back. The festival celebrates Hugh Masekela's unique vision of African tradition and heritage through song, dance and spoken word. Catering for the whole family, the festival seeks to reflect Bra Hugh's motto of love and learn as well as to teach. For more on this, we are now joined by his daughter, Pula Twala, as well as a board member of the Hugh Masekela Foundation, who's joining us in studio. We also have in studio Nhlanhla Mahlangu, who is a musician, and we also have Khaya Mahlangu, who's joining us for this conversation. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Good morning.
Next week, this time, things will be very, very...
Yes.
Better be there.
Tell us about what would be happening next week around about this time. Let's start off with you, Pula.
Okay, thank you for having us. So next week we're having the HughFest out at the Narok Sculpture Park in the Cradle of Humankind. And it will be a feast of music and good food and people. The HughFest is in its 11th year. So yeah, it's a continuous celebration of what we call, intergenerational conversations and a celebration of our heritage and obviously of our music. And it's an honor to obviously have Nhlanhla and Uncle Khaya with us, who are part of this intergenerational conversation and music on the day.
Yeah, and Khaya, let's start off on this conversation around what is it about this particular festival, 11 years into it, and the person who came up with this idea is no longer there, but the festival continues to live on. And I have to say this as well. About a week or so ago, a friend of mine actually DM'd me and said, hey, did you see the Youth Festival is coming? Let's go to the Youth Festival. Yeah. And this is somebody who is younger than me.
Right.
This is somebody who's younger than me, but also looking forward to the Youth Festival. What is it about this festival?
Well, it's to keep, first of all, Hugh Masekela's legacy alive, but it's our legacy, our cultural legacy, to keep it going and hoist it up for the world to see and hear. And also to have this intergenerational involvement of artists, because then the baton has to be, taken to the next runner. And I'm glad that this young man here is. I first came across him when he was 17, and he's been just going up and up and. Yeah, it's something to look forward to and something that we need to celebrate.
Yeah, and when you look at the trajectory of people like Nhlanhla, what does it tell you about music in this country?
Well, there's so much talent in this country. It's amazing, we just need to have more of it on the airways, on television. We just need to have more of it. There's such an abundance of talent coming out of universities. Where do they perform? So the HughFest Festival just fulfills one of those gaps, other than the Joy of Jazz and other bodies that host festivals.
Yeah. And let's tell us, what is it about being part of this festival for you that makes it so significant? And there's this emphasis once again, and I'm going to come back to you as well, Pula, around this intergenerational connectivity that happens and these intersections that take place.
I mean, for the longest time, the jazz musicians have been learning from the elders. So, I mean, I'm just glad to be part of that continuation of the art form and learning from the masters such as Bra Hugh and having support from people like Hugh Masekela Heritage Foundation and Sis Pula and them.
Yeah. Speak to us, Pula, about that intergenerational connection and intersections that take place and why that's so important for this festival.
It's very important because it actually is one of Hugh Masekela's legacies. He was known to be somebody that collaborated with many people, his own peers and also with young people. He's famously collaborated with Thandiswa Mazwai, with Black Coffee, with Nelson Makamo, just across all art forms. So even when the festival was created, it was created to do that. And even with us not having him on this side of life, we've had the mandate to continue that conversation. And so it is important for us that that is actually what the festival is known for, among other things that the foundation does. And Nhlanhla, aside from being a musician all his life, he's also a graduate of the Hugh Masekela Heritage Scholarship. He was at the Manhattan School of Music for 4 years in New York. So he graduated end of last year, and he's been back home since the beginning of the year. So we are also excited to celebrate our first graduate of that scholarship.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So it's also another continuation.
Yeah,
of
that's
this.
quite interesting.
Yes, yes.
I don't know, Bra Hugh, would you be able to explain it, or Pula, would you be able to explain it? The part around the sponsorship, how was that idea born? Because it's one thing to create a platform where people can come and perform, but it's another to say that actually we want to also invest in the future of this particular individual through education.
Are you talking about the sponsorship of the festival?
Yes.
Okay. So the beautiful thing is that...
No, I was actually speaking about the sponsorship.
Yeah. Okay, so well, it was a fundraiser by the foundation, speaking to many friends and partners of the foundation to be able to realize the scholarship. And it was mainly private people that, came up with the sponsorship aside from our fundraising efforts. So it was important. We launched it in 2019 in New York. The Manhattan School of Music is Hugh's alma mater. So people who know Hugh's history, Hugh had a horn given to him by Louis Armstrong through Trevor Huddleston. And so after his passing in 2018, the next year, we sat around and say, how can we do that in some way? And we have 7 students who have been studying. Nhlanhla was one of the first, have been studying there at his alma mater. So it's a journey. It's a conversation from young Hugh, which is then born through Nhlanhla and them. And we have 6 other students who are there. 2 others have graduated. So I think we're left with about 4 who will be finishing next year in 2025. So it's quite an achievement and a feat, not only for the foundation, but for the country, for the legacy of the music of South Africa, because the music of South Africa is quite popular around the world. Aside from Hugh, there was Miriam Makeba. Right now, Tyler is, an amazing name out there for us. There's Black Coffee, there's Piano to the World.
Yes.
So honestly speaking, what Hugh Masekela and his peers did was, to begin, as Bra Hugh said, that race and the baton is being passed on in different ways to the young people who come up now and to many other who even came after Hugh Masekela.
Yeah. Bra Hugh, what would you say about that particular scholarship, and looking at the time that you have spent with Bra Hugh in the spaces that you've been with him, perhaps maybe sometimes even intimately, looking at some of the visions that he had shared about the country and more specifically the world of music?
Well, as an educator, that's very up my alley, the dissemination and passing of information to the next generation. So me and Bra Hugh, we used to talk a lot about this kind of a thing, that we need to help our young, along so that the legacy lives, So I've been passionate all my life just passing on information to young kids, unlike my time when they say, hey, you give this guy this information, he'll play better than you, man. And I was like, no, it don't work like that. You have to pass the information to anything to get the kids to be better at what they do.
That's quite incredible, because it also speaks about somebody who's comfortable in their knowledge, comfortable in their talent, and not necessarily intimidated, but rather inspired, actually.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been inspired by I play with young musicians in my band. They inspire me, say, hey, Bra Hugh, man, that's old style, do it like this. I say, oh yeah, let's do it, because it's beautiful.
Can Bra Hugh do a piano score?
A piano score or a piano score? No, I write music, I orchestrate, for big band and that. I can write music.
Yeah.
But with the piano genre, my piano genre, maybe.
Maybe
Maybe one of the days. You know?
I'm planting an idea here.
Yeah.
I am planting an idea.
A whole lot of people have been saying that to me.
You see?
Yeah.
And Tata, speak to us also the significance of being in spaces like these, right? So we understand that you're going to have the Mahotela Queens that are going to be performing. And for me, it's you look at the Mahotela Queens are performing, and then you have a Zoe Mudiga as well who's performing. And Zoe's, 30 years old?
Yeah.
And she's going to be sharing a stage with greats like the Mahotela Queens, and you will be part of that as well. What does it mean for you to be part of something as significant as this?
I mean, for me, it's a humbling experience and an honor, you know. Because, great musicianship, we always get it from, like, the masters and people that have been there in the game. And even in terms of, like, catapulting your career forward, it's best to get the, information from the people that have done it in the past. So for me, it's an honor, and it's going to be a great learning experience for me to be there.
And this festival is not just about music.
Yeah.
There's other stuff as well.
Like culinary arts, as Pula was saying previously,
Yeah. And our heritage doesn't end with the music, right?
No, it doesn't.
We don't
No, it
preserve
doesn't.
heritage only through music,
Yes.
or even through clothing. But there's a whole lot, including the food
Oh, yeah,
aspect.
the crafts and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah. So for people, Pula, who will be coming through, what can you say to them?
Well, it's going to be a family day, which is most important, so people can come through with your parents and with your children, because, as we say, it is an intergenerational celebration. Brakaya and Ntlanta will be performing together as a duo. As you mentioned, we've got the Mahotela Queens, we've got Zoe Mudiga, we have Bra John Selulwane, who's coming from Botswana and is collaborating with Dato Seiko, who is also a young R&B artist from Botswana. We have Tete Mbambisa, who's coming from Cape Town. And then as the ambassadors of December, we're closing off with TKZ, who celebrated 25 years of their album Halloween last year. So in itself, that is a heritage of South Africa.
Hello December.
So yeah, we're excited. We're excited about all that. And for tickets, people can go to our handles, which is Hugh Masekela or Hugh Masekela Za on Facebook, and the Newzroom Foundation. Their website is newzroomfoundation.co.za to have your tickets through Howler. And yeah, they are selling out. We are on this week, as you're saying, 1st of December, and it is a family day. Culinary experience. We'll be having T-shirts such as the one that I'm wearing of a collaboration of Nelson Makamo and Hugh Masekela. We'll be having Hugh Masekela's book still grazing on sale. So it's a feast of everything Hugh Masekela, but also everything South Africa.
But also a feast of, I think, and just listening to the Makamo and looking at the Makamo T-shirt there, like I got chills, because it is also the importance of collaboration.
Yes.
And how far we can go through collaborating.
And with a younger generation.
And this is definitely it. All the best. We'll see Gutiama get down.
Oh yeah, we'll be getting down, brother.
I'm a join us up with Brakaya.
Oh, big time. I might be advanced in years, but I'm not old.
No. Okay, all the best, guys. Hopefully I'll make it as well. And I have to say also, partnering with Newzroom, what a venue.
Yeah.
What a stunning venue.
It is a beautiful venue.
It is picturesque. If you've never been to the Newzroom Sculpture Park, give yourself a moment to go and watch and just look at some of the art that is on display. And just look at the pictures that we'll be taking as well. Because with the pictures themselves also tell a story. If you are free next week, Sunday, make your way to Newzroom Sculpture Park and enjoy the HughFest.